everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. This month's issue is very exciting. It comes with a Wolf Mask Warriro minifigure from Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2. Now this is just one of the generic villains from the wave, but the reason this is really cool is they are very uncommon in sets. The cheapest wide release set that they come in is $50 and you only get one in that set. But beyond that though, this is also the rarest variant because it comes with this red armor. The variant with red armor also only comes in one set, and that set is $90. So it makes that piece specifically very difficult to get, which is a real shame because it looks quite cool. However, now thanks to this magazine, it is significantly easier to get this minifigure, so I'm super excited for it because it's a great one. And then this is a magazine that also comes with a bonus minifigure. If you guys don't know how the bonus minifigures work, basically every now and then the magazines include an extra minifigure from a previous magazine, and it's not going to be the same for everybody. Depending on where you buy the magazine and which magazine you get, it could be a different minifigure. And in my case, I got a Crystalized Skull Sorcerer or Evangelist minifigure, which I'm going to be honest, is probably the lamest one I could have gotten. One of the worst magazine promos in recent history. I don't dislike this minifigure, but it did come in a very cheap set, and nothing on this minifigure is exclusive. In the sets at the very least, he had an exclusive face print, but if I remember correctly, the magazine version just has an unprinted face. I mean, I guess I'll take an extra of the crystallized legs, torso, and armor, but yeah, at least personally, not one that's super exciting to me. However, it is a bonus, so I can't complain too much. Hopefully, though, if you guys get this magazine, you'll get something a little better than I did. Which, if you did, let me know in the comments, what was your bonus minifigure? I'm curious to hear what I'm missing out on. But anyway, we'll take a look at both of these minifigures later in this video. For now, let me remove them from the magazine so we can take a look at the magazine cover itself. Alright, here's the full cover, and ooh, is this actually the first Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2 magazine? I think it is, because all the other ones have been based on Part 1 so far. At the top you can see it says 2 LEGO toys, new Wolf Hunter plus more. LEGO toy, Wolf Hunter, ahoo! The Ultimate Ninja Race, who's the fastest of them all? Then we got some wicked posters. Are you ready to rumble? Prepare for the greatest tournament ever. And then there's an amazing 12-page comic, which actually looks like it's going to include Frak, which is very, very exciting. Frak is my favorite new character from Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2. I really hope he continues to appear in the show, but getting more Frak story is so exciting. By the way, I realize I have not made a video on Season 2 Part 2. I was going to, and then I just sort of didn't. If you guys are still interested in that, let me know in the comments. It's just the release was weird. I didn't want to spoil it for people when it initially came out, but then now that it's officially out, I kind of want to rewatch it before I make a video going over my thoughts. I might just do a live stream with my friends talking about it. That might be better. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments, because I do have a lot I'd like to say about it. I just never really got around to combining all of my thoughts into one video. In short, though, I really liked it. It's quite good. But that being said, let's turn to the first page. And here we have a LEGO Friends advertisement, as we've had recently. Again, not really sure what that has to do with Ninjago, but sure. Table of contents right here, and our Master of the Month is actually Master Wu this time. Name Wu, Element Creation. Master Wu is an elemental master? Sure, he is the master of creation. His power combines the 4 main elements, fire, ice, earth, and lightning, into one mighty force. No wonder all the ninja look up to him. And then you could rank Wu's power, and then you could say, in which situation would this elemental power be super useful? I don't know how canon all of that is. Creation's very weird, where it's hardly ever touched on in the show, but it is a thing, and it is technically Wu's power, I believe. But we've seen creation more outside of Wu than actually through Wu's powers, so I don't know the extent of what Wu's powers actually are. And I don't think the writers of these magazines know either. But anyway, let's turn to the very first page, and this is the bio page on the minifigure, Wolf Hunter. He's saying his iconic line, "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?" Which of course they said very frequently in the show whenever these guys would talk, because they talked a lot. Raz's henchmen, the wolf warriors have been causing problems for the ninja for some time now. When they wear their masks and Lord Raz strikes the gong of shattering, they become invincible. Who is the leader of the pack? But something is not quite right with the ferocious beasts. Their masks suddenly look different and they glow bright red as if a dark force has taken hold of them and made them even stronger. And all this is without Raz and his gong. Behind the mask, it'll probably only be a matter of time before the first wolf strays from Raz's pack. What about your Wolf Hunter? Will he remain loyal to Raz or will he be a rebel? Think about who's behind the mask and what they are plotting. That's kind of cute. I like that. They're trying to encourage kids to think of this more as a character and less as just a generic villain. I know if I'd gotten this when I was a kid, I definitely would have latched onto that and imagined my Wolf Mask Warrior as more than just a Wolf Mask Warrior. That's a really cool idea. I like that a lot, especially because that's something we don't really see in the show. These guys are as generic as can be in the show. They don't have a single line, no personality, they are just an army, which I think is fine because they're not the focus of the story, but it's cool to see the magazine sort of personify them a little bit. Then we have a game. It's time for a good howl. Alright, so you have to figure out which of the 2 wolves is the loudest. That's a creative way to mix things up. It's a math game, but it's it's a neat way of doing it. Each letter has a different volume to it. Let's turn to the next page, and here we have something that's sideways. So I guess this is meant to look like a newspaper. Spin New Ninja News. Okay, and this is basically just summarizing the Tournament of Sources. Feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself if you want. Don't really have too much to add. They summarize all the first round fights down here, which we saw in the show, which is neat. And it gives some stats on the characters, though I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of this. You know I love my boy Frak, but they say that he's smarter than Cole. I think Cole's a pretty smart guy, and he also has more life experience than Frak. So I don't know if I'd give Frak those points. They also put Jay's intelligence really low, which I think is pretty mean. And they're saying Frak is smarter than Nia, too. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. They're making fun of Kizzy's elemental power, too, saying it's super weak, which, to be fair, in a tournament setting, probably not the best. It's neat to see them rank it all, though, even if I don't entirely agree. Anyway, turning to the next page, here we have You're Not Invited. Here you just have to figure out which of these paths lead you to the temple if you follow every fork in the road. Then this is a coloring page where you draw your own fight between two elemental masters. You come up with their names, their elemental powers, and if they're good or evil. Turning the page once again, now we're at the comic. So as always with the comic, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself. And if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop and point it out. So this comic is called New Blood Ninja. And as we saw at the beginning, yes, Frak is heavily featured in it. So let's see what this has in store. So this takes place at the beginning of Season 2, Part 2, right after Arin meets Frak again, but before, like, any of the fights or anything. And Wildfire is asking Arin about who Frak is. This is really cute. You see them training and pretending to be ninja together as kids. We saw a little bit of that in the show, but I'm happy to see more. Okay, so they're trying to help out around Ninjago City, so they grab this sofa to try to, like, help load it back up to this person's house. But it turns out they were getting rid of the sofa, so they just stole it and tried to bring it back into their house. That's really goofy. Final page of Part 1 right here. Okay, so now they go to help this member of the SOG who just robbed somebody else. And then they're like, uh-oh, that was probably a bad idea too. So now they're building their own dragons, which probably won't go too well. Also, there's a really weird thing on this page. This is Kai up here. Kai in a Season 11 outfit, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Is it just supposed to be like, oh, they don't even notice the ninja behind them? But also the perspective on Kai is really weird, right? Like everybody else is leaning forward because that's where the camera angle is. But Kai's like completely flat. He also looks a little small too. He really doesn't make any sense to be there in the way he is. I'm not really sure what's up with that. It looks very strange. Regardless, now we are at the break in the comic, so let's turn to the next page, and we have Tornado Pie. Arin is delighted to see Frak again, so he wants to make a new pie. You gotta find the right ingredients, then complete these sequences, and then solve this little maze. Then we have the posters in the middle. Let me remove those real quick. On one side, the poster says Source Dragon Emotion and has a picture of the Source Dragon Emotion. This is just an official set image, so like nothing too crazy in terms of the design, but it looks good. Far from like my favorite poster ever, but there's nothing really bad about it either. I like the motion effect on the word motion, that's kind of fun. Yeah, this is a good one. And then on the other side, we have a Ready for the Tournament, and it has all of the ninja in their tournament outfits. Or I guess all the ninja who actually go to the tournament. Kai's not here, but he's not in the tournament in the show, so that makes sense to leave him out of this poster. Yeah, this one's also really good. I like the design of the background. All these renders are pretty cool to see. Neither of these are like spectacular like my favorites ever, but they're both pretty solid. Good work this time around. Now we're back to the magazine, and we have a game called Go Get Changed! And I guess the Elemental Masters' outfits have been mixed up, so you have to match them to the correct ones. That's very silly. And then we have Someone Call a Master, where you have to figure out which of these go in which slot. Okay. Turning the page, we are back to the magazine, and they do successfully fly their dragons. But then they can't control them, and they crash into each other. Then they go to practice balance, and a pigeon starts poking at Arin's foot, and then he falls over, or looks like he is currently falling over. Let's turn the page once more. Oh, he does fall over, and he rolls all the way down the building in a Donkey Kong-style barrel roll. Oh, whoa, okay, this is supposed to be an origin of Arin learning how to do spinjitzu. That's pretty cool. I actually really like that. That's super neat. So then they try to recreate the spinjitzu, but Arin's not able to do it again. And then we come back to modern day. I honestly really love this one. This might be one of the best comics yet. Just super cute story that we didn't get in the show at all. Because the thing with these comics always is they have to be interesting while also like not being too important to the show. Because number one, they're not technically canon, but if they don't contradict canon at all, you can consider them canon, because there's no reason not to. However, they do contradict canon a lot. But this is perfect in my eyes because it gives like this really cool new lore to the show without necessarily contradicting anything. I think the timeline on Arin learning Spinjitzu might be a little bit off because he doesn't learn that until after the merge, but they sort of imply here that no, he didn't learn it. He just sort of got the inkling that he might learn it in the future here by accidentally doing it once, which I think fits in. But yeah, I love so much seeing more of his relationship with Frak because we only saw so much of that in the show. This is genuinely a great one all around. Super happy with this. And it's not just because Frak's in it, because I do love him as a character. Now, we're done with the comic, but we're not done with the magazine just yet, so here are the next 2 pages. Here you have a game where Wildfire has to hit all these different targets. When a fireball hits like one of these squares, it reflects off. And then here we have a maze, but it's a 3-dimensional maze, so it's a little more complex than the mazes we normally get. I love the graphics on this one. That's really cool, and it's got like all the Forbidden 5 hidden throughout, so you have to try to complete it without encountering any of them. That's a neat way to mix things up. Turning to the next page, we have The Race of the Elements. This is cool. It's like a dice rolling board game. Each spot has like different things that affect it. There's a funny translation error they call technique, which obviously that's not Sora's element. Sora's the master of technology. Technique is not really an element. That's because these are originally written in German and then translated into English, so sometimes there's little weird things like that. But yeah, this is fun. I like this. Interesting to see the original ninja symbols come back too. Or I guess these are the Day of the Departed variants, right? Sora's definitely feels out of place with the rest, but I guess it is still technically an animal symbol, so it works. And then turning to the next page, we have, what's this? Zane vs. Sir? Is this just summarizing like the first battle in the tournament? It looks like it. It's encouraging you to build your own battle arena with LEGO pieces. That's nice. And then it summarizes the battlers at the top, but it says Zur is an Oni, which is just wrong. No, he's not. He's a Devonian. They specifically call out his race in the show, and they call him an Oni here, and I don't know why. I guess because he has horns. But yeah, that's just completely wrong, and that's an example of things these magazines can get wrong sometimes. Then this game, you have to follow the pattern. This is like a seek and find game at the top. We have Ryu burping down here. Ryu has eaten his admission ticket. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's very funny. I also like this drawing of, like, young Ryu. This is one of the cuter ways I've seen this design depicted. And then we are at the very end of the magazine. So here we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, which is a very welcome surprise. It's going to be a Climber Nia minifigure. Now, I was fully expecting us to not get this minifigure in this magazine because they'd already started on Dragon's Rising Season 2 Part 2 stuff with the villain in this magazine, so I thought, okay, they'd go on to the Dragon's Rising Season 2 Part 2 Ninja. But no, they are going back and doing Climber Nia, which is amazing, because she was the final Climber Ninja exclusive to the Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo set, and she's one of the 3 most important ones in the show, so now none of the minifigures in that set are exclusive anymore if you're in a country where the magazines are available. That makes me so happy to see. I think she's one of the best ones too, so I'm very excited to get another of her. That's a minifigure from a $120 set, now coming in a $5 magazine. This also means now Jay is the only Climber Ninja who's not come in one of these magazines. I'd be happy to get him, but also if we don't, I'm not super bothered because he's the only non-canon one. Honestly, I'd rather us get Dark Jay at this point because he only comes in one set and he's also really cool, but we'll have to see what future months have in store. And then on this final page... This is not something I ever expected to see. We have a meme generator. Of course, Dark J is saying his iconic line that we all heard in the show. You know, that very dramatic scene where he shows up and Nia's like, "Jay, it's you." And Jay responds, "Let's make some awesome memes." Anyway, you have these, 7 different pictures you can cut out, and then 6 different captions. So I'm just going to pick some of the pictures at random, and then read out the captions to you guys, so you can get the true, meme experience. Me, I swear, my dog ate all my homework. My teacher. There is spinach for lunch. Only 5 minutes till school is over. My parent when I try to explain the new Ninjago season. Me, there is method to my madness. My parents. My friends when I have a new video game? But wait guys, if we turn the page, there's more on the other side. More pictures, more captions, more memes. When you stepped on a Lego brick? When you said a joke but nobody laughs? When you're late for school? Parents, please be home by 6 p.m. Coming home at 8 p.m.? When the teacher says your name. Yeah, this is awesome. I want to see more Ninjago meme generators in future magazines. Anyway, I think that's about it for the magazine. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of the video. For now, let's take a look at the minifigures that it came with. Here are the 2 minifigures all put together, and I'll start with the Wolf Mask Warriro because he's the one that everybody's going to get if they get this magazine. And as I said at the beginning, this minifigure is fantastic. As time's gone on, I've come to really like these Wolf Mask Warriro designs. I remember when they were first revealed, people weren't sure if they liked the red and the purple, and honestly, I wasn't super sure either. I like them a lot more having them in hand than from pictures, but the more time passes and the more I look at them, the more I've come to appreciate them, like, even further. And I think the variant with the armor piece is the best looking one. Like, the giant blood claws are super cool that come on the other ones, but if there was a way to combine that with the armor piece, like, that would be the ideal minifigure, because yeah, the armor looks so great, and it's just amazing to get this here, because as I said, this only comes in a $90 set. The armor's a great piece though. It's got like the fur on the one side and the claw on the other. It matches the armor that Jordana and Cinder have in the other sets, but they have it in silver. And then I love how the torso and legs on these minifigures are gunmetal gray. That's such a cool color for those pieces. The metallic silver on top pops so nicely, and I love all the purple and the red. In terms of accessory too, this guy comes with a Rage Blade, which I believe only came in part 1 the sets, right? I don't think it was in any of the Part 2 sets, but unsurprisingly, it does really fit the color scheme of this guy. Or actually, wait, did Jordana come with it in the Source Dragon Emotion? I think she might have. Regardless, these guys didn't carry it in any of the sets. And then the mask, of course, looks amazing. From the back, it might be a little silly looking, it's just very bright in terms of color scheme, but from the front especially, I love how the red looks against the purple. Taking the mask piece off, unfortunately, it is just the piece from the first wave. That's easily the worst part about this minifigure. Luckily, you don't see it unless you take that mask off, because it is completely covered. But yeah, it just really doesn't fit at all. It's dark blue when it just shouldn't be. But there's both sides of that face. Back torso print too, I love little cracks, like these guys are really being corrupted. This new power that they're harnessing is almost like making them fall apart. And there's a full look at the front torso piece too with the armor removed. Yeah, this is a great minifigure. If I lived in a country where these magazines were available, I'd probably get multiple copies of this so I could just get lots of this guy. Unfortunately though, I'm in the US, so it's quite expensive to import these. It's good enough to make these videos, but in terms of buying them in bulk, yeah, the price isn't really worth it. Phenomenal minifigure though, very happy he was included. And then my bonus minifigure, you may have noticed, looks a little bit off, and that's because one of the pieces came like mismolded. You can see the second clip on the back that's supposed to hold one of his wings is just sort of like the wrong shape. It seems like it was like melted or something, but no, I believe it was just molded like that. So I got an error part. That's kind of cool. It makes this guy more interesting than he would have been otherwise. Torso, legs, and armor are fantastic. I just love how the Crystal Generals look, but they all have the same exact torso, legs, and armor. Mask is just that Skull Sorcerer mask, which again, very, very cool. Fits this guy well, but I already have plenty of that from the Crystalized wave. But the worst part about this guy, if I take that mask off, there is just nothing underneath. In the sets, he came with something underneath, but in the magazine, for some reason, he just doesn't. And he was already, like, the least interesting of the Crystal Council. He was the cheapest one to get, so just really not super exciting to get him again here. It's a bonus, so I can't complain too much, but yeah, probably one of my least favorite bonuses in a while. However, as I said, the bonus is not consistent. You could get a different bonus than me. The minifigure you're guaranteed to get is this one, which is really, really good, so I'm not going to really count this against this magazine. But overall, what are my thoughts on this magazine? Do I recommend picking it up? Honestly, yes. This might be my favorite magazine of this year. Like, genuinely really, really good from all departments. The comic is easily my favorite in a while. Now, I think the comics have been pretty good recently, just in general. Like, there's been a lot of pretty good ones, but this one really stuck out to me as, like, one of the best of all time. I always think back to that one from Master of the Mountain about Cole's mother. Like, that one really stands out to me as a really great one. And I don't know if this one's on that level, but it's pretty darn close. Like, I loved the story in this one. There was a nice diverse selection of games, too, for kids playing these. Again, they've gotten better about that. It's not just the same game in every magazine. They have a lot of new concepts, and for the things that are similar ideas, a lot of times they have fun new takes on it, which I really appreciate, because in those early magazines, it was just the same things over and over. It was just a puzzle, a maze, etc., etc. And while those things are still in this, they have fun new takes on it, which I appreciate. Posters were fine. They weren't, like, exceptional, but they were definitely not bad, and we have gotten bad posters in the past. And then, yeah, as I said, minifigure, really, really great. It's not a named character, so if you only care about named characters, I guess this is an easy one to skip. But as I said, just as a generic villain, the cheapest way to get any of them is $50, unless you find the polybag for $5. And if you want this specific variant with the armor, the cheapest way to get it is $90. So a magazine is significantly better, and you can get these in bulk if you want to, like, make a whole army like we see in the show. Plus bonus minifigure, which is always nice to see, even if mine wasn't super exciting. So yeah, all that being said, I highly, highly recommend this magazine for everybody, whether you have a huge Ninjago collection or a small one. This is a great magazine to pick up, genuinely. There's something in it for everybody. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!